All right, guys, welcome back into another NBA DFS video. My name is Polzin with 9 to 5 Sports. Going to be breaking down this big 8-game slate on Wednesday night, touching on the top guard plays, forward plays, centers, core plays, and then giving you guys a first look build this morning. If you guys enjoy the coverage, make sure to give a like and subscribe. All right, so starting at the guard position, it is kind of a loaded slate, especially as the injury news is currently looking. Trae Young probably going to sit, left last night's game in the fourth quarter. I tend to think that when players leave a game and they have a back-to-back, they're not going to play. So that means someone like DeJounte Murray is going to be a very strong play. And really with Trae Young out, that could help the rest of the Atlanta Hawks. But Murray does see a usage rate of about 30% and average of 43 fantasy points per 36. And we can see he could potentially get more than that. So he is someone we should be looking at playing, probably going to get around 40 fantasy points tonight. I think he is definitely someone that's going to be in play. And then with that news as well, we could actually potentially be looking at someone like Aaron Holiday as a cheap value play. If Trae Young sits, Aaron Holiday is someone that does see a decent amount of minutes with him off the court. His usage rate is 15.5 and his fantasy point total per 36 is 25 fantasy. So if he can get 20 to even 30 minutes, could be a strong price point play. Obviously not someone we are going crazy with just yet. Got to wait on that injury. Looking at the guard situation as well for Phoenix, if Booker and also Campaign are still out in this game, we could potentially be looking at a player I was on a decent amount last night, Washington Jr. Okay, he's a very strong point per minute player, and he is someone that does benefit with those two off the court. So it wasn't really shocking that he had a good game. Probably got a little bit extra run in there because the game was a little bit of a blowout, but at the very least, we could probably begin around 18 fantasy points from him tonight on this slate. So he is someone I think we are firmly going to be looking at. You know, Jordan Poole is very interesting with Curry, Clay, and also Wiggins off the court. His fantasy point total per 36 is only around 38, so not a lock and low play. At the same time, it wouldn't be shocking if he goes off. The Golden State Warriors have just struggled to keep games close, really, especially with those players off the court, so he's not a lock and load play. Could be a good play, though. De'Aaron Fox should be a strong price point play if Sabonis sits in this one. Probably should have had a much better game last night. The rebounds weren't there. The assists weren't there. Did have a good night shooting. 5 turnovers doesn't help as well. You know, if those cut down a little bit, gets a couple more assists, maybe a couple more rebounds, easily could have got to 40 DK points. I think he's still going to be a strong play. Someone you could definitely try to play if Sabonis sits. I will say the price point of Jordan Clarkson is very strange. You know, he is one of those players that kind of like Lauri Markkanen at the start of the season, DraftKings is just not respecting. Consistently has been putting up DK points, and at this price tag, it's going to be very tough not to end up on Jordan Clarkson, at least a little bit, especially given the matchup with the Golden State Warriors, a matchup that should be easy, a matchup that he went off against earlier for 39.5 DK points. We could potentially begin around 40 DK points at 6.8. You know, that's pretty appealing. If Caruso were to sit tonight, I do think, you know, Kobe White would be a strong kind of price point play. He saw the most minutes with him off the court last game, playing about 29 minutes, could easily get to 20 DK points. Obviously not someone that really could break the slate, but someone that shouldn't hurt you. I'm fine with that. Ty Jerome could be someone that steps into a decent role with Curry, with Clay, and with Wiggins off. Kyrie as well, you know, been extremely consistent. Tough not to love him as a play. Just kind of a strange price point. You look at the last time he played the Hawks, went for 52 DK points. One of the players that really hasn't been price corrected, probably should be a 9K player as well. So definitely something we could take advantage of. And then lastly, looking at Russell Westbrook. Westbrook would pretty much be a lock if we get news that LeBron is going to sit back end of a back-to-back. You know, he's kind of been dealing with a little bit of an injury. I kind of expect LeBron to sit, although we don't know that for sure, but we should be able to get that news before lineup lock, and that's going to be huge on this slate. If we do get that news before lineup lock, Westbrook would easily be a lock. With AD and with LeBron off the court, Westbrook has a usage rate of 35%. His fantasy point total per 36 is 47 fantasy points, and I do think we could accurately project him to get at least 32 minutes. The biggest issue with Westbrook lately has been the minutes. We saw him get 5 extra minutes last night, and he was able to go for a triple-double. Really not shocking there, okay? He's been close to having a huge game, DFS-wise, and it's not shocking that that finally happened last night. So if LeBron sits, Westbrook is firmly going to be on play. So forward-wise, I do think if we can afford to pay up for Giannis on the slate, I do think we do so going against Chicago Bulls. I do expect him to go out and be able to put up about 60 DFS points. Okay, I think he's going to be a strong price point play, especially given the fact that he's not above 12K. Good matchup. I do want to be going on my way to play him. Anthony Edwards has been someone that has seen a lot of minutes with Kyle Anderson off, with Towns off. Okay, he is someone that just getting a ton of minutes, getting a lot of usage. I do think he's someone that if you are playing a bunch of lineups, you need some of him in your lineups. Okay, maybe 10, 20%, because the upside for him is 50, 60 DK points, but he does have a downside. Like he could hurt you and put up like 35 DK points. Either way, should be a good like NBA play, but DFS wise, the ceiling is there, the floor is also kind of rough given the price point. Jaden McDaniels is also someone that's catching my eye for the Timberwolves with Kyle Anderson projected to still sit out. That should mean they still going to get a ton of minutes. The production has been there recently for him. The price point's starting to get up there as well, but I think we can still play him. Not someone you're like going out of your way to play, but if you end up on him, like to close out your build, you're going to be fine with it. Just went for 29.5 DFS points last night. So a decent play. AJ Griffin is someone that would benefit with Trae Young sitting as well. His usage rate with him off the court is 23.8%, and his fantasy point total per 36 is going to be 33 fantasy points. Probably can't project him to get over 30 minutes if Trae Young sits, but maybe he does get a final rotation, maybe gets to 30 minutes or so. So like 25 DK points, certainly a possibility. TJ Warren, price point wise, going to be tough to ignore on this slate. 3 straight really good games, 3 straight games of over 20 minutes. Okay, and I think he's kind of forcing the Nets into giving him more minutes. So if he does continue to see his minutes trend upwards, this is a really strong price point play. And I think we're going to see kind of him average around 25 fantasy points throughout the season. Obviously, last game got really hot shooting the basketball, so he kept shooting. Had 14 shot attempts. TJ Warren should be a good play on this slate. Going to be easy to fit him into your builds as well. Lamb is someone that potentially could be a strong kind of price point play, kind of a value play that we're ending up on with a lot of the Golden State Warriors projected to sit. Trey Lyles is someone that I do think we're going to end up on this slate if Sabonis sits. 2 straight games, he's been the one that has benefited the most with Sabonis out, and that has been the case season long as well. If you look at usage rate and fantasy point total per 36, he's the one that benefits the most. A lot of people were on Alex Len last night because he was starting. That was incorrect. It's going to be Trey Lyles, most likely. I mean, it's the back end of a back-to-back. That makes it a little bit more difficult, but 24 and 23 minutes the last 2 games, 25 and 24 DK points, that is obviously really good. We would take 18 DK points at this price tag. So if he's going to continue to get those minutes, I think that production should continue to be there for him. Now we're going to go ahead and look at the centers. All right, so the top centers on the slate, Jokic just went for 51 DK points against this team last game. The Kings, not the best, but still not terrible. 1 rebound shy of a triple-double. That obviously would have really helped his production there. So not a terrible play. I think he's someone we can definitely end up on. We got to see the news on Bam. If Bam sits, then I think we'd be looking at Orlando Robinson again as a strong price point play. Probably would be a core play. Probably be a lock if Bam sits. Thomas Bryant is someone that would also benefit from LeBron and AD sitting. His usage rate is about 20% with him off the court. His fantasy point total per 36 is 40 fantasy points. So probably going to get around 35 fantasy points from him. Would be a strong price point play, I think. With Clint Capella out, I was kind of telling people, go John Collins last night. I might flip that. I might go with Ogankwu, Onyeka Ogankwu. He's been in foul trouble the last 2 games, and that's why he hasn't really been able to go off. He does benefit a lot with Trae Young off the court, actually. So he is someone that he also has the most minutes with him off the court, with Capella off the court as well. 17.4 usage rate. DK point total per 36 is around 36. So, would be a really strong play. If he gets into foul trouble again, though, then we are looking at someone like John Collins as well. So it's kind of an if-then statement there. Jalen Duren is going to be someone I'm going to be ending up on a lot, I think. With Marvin Bagley out, we should see the minutes be secure for Jalen Duren. He has a 12.8% usage rate with him off the court. Averages 32 fantasy points per 36 with him off the court. So if he can get around 30 minutes or so, maybe 36 minutes, get a little bit of an extra bump with Bagley off the court, he'd definitely be someone that we're looking at. Right now, he ranks as one of the better price point plays per dollar on the slate. And then Gabriel as well could be someone that is kind of a strong price point play if we get news that LeBron is indeed going to sit. He actually gets the second most minutes with him off, with those 3 off the court, with AD off the court and with LeBron off the court, gets the second most minutes. So, maybe you could get 25 minutes, get you around 20 DK points. That wouldn't be horrible. His fantasy point total per 36 with those 2 off the court is about 29. So not great, but someone we could end up on value-wise. So let's go ahead and get into the core plays. So for me, I do like Washington Jr. a lot once again tonight. Shot the ball 10 really the last 2 games, 15 shot attempts, 21 shot attempts. The minutes should continue to be there for him. That is if Devin Booker and Cam Payne are both ruled out. I expect them to sit in this one. So if that continues once again, Washington Jr. should be a great price point play for you on this slate. Trey Lyles as well. We got to get news that Sabonis is going to sit, because I was listening to NBA radio yesterday a little bit. They were kind of expecting him to play through that injury. So maybe it was because it was the front end of a back-to-back that they just sat Sabonis out. So if we get news that Sabonis is going to play, or that he's even questionable, then we got to worry and wait on that. Maybe have something in place that you could switch to. Obviously, with this being the late night game, we need something that we could adjust to with that news. Okay, but Trey Lyles, if Sabonis sits, would be a great play. Obviously, the last 2 games have been great, over 20 minutes in both those games, over 20 DK points in both those games. The price has not caught up just yet. I wish we could play him at forward or center, but still, given the price point, someone that we're definitely going out of our way to play. Jalen Duren, I really think is going to be a strong price point play with Marvin Bagley out. Averages about 12.8% usage rate, and his fantasy point total per 36 with him off the court is going to be 32 fantasy points. Obviously, coming off of a really strong game where he had 39 minutes and 38 DK points. If those minutes continue to be there for him, if he can get over 36 minutes, I don't want to say he's going to be a lock to really hit value, but should be someone that we're looking at to have the flame mark at the end of the night. And then with Trae Young looking like he is probably going to sit, I do think we need to go out of our way to find a way to play DeJounte Murray. Now, I hate the fact that someone like Kyrie Irving is at the exact same price point, because he is someone that is a very strong price point play as well. He's someone that just had a good game against Brooklyn as well. Murray, though, with Trae Young off the court, does see a huge usage rate of about 30%, and his fantasy point total per 36 is going to be 43 fantasy points. So we should be locking in around 40 fantasy points. I just really love that usage rate. It's tough to pass up on that usage rate. And then if we get news that LeBron James is going to sit, I think we just have to play Russell Westbrook. And I do think LeBron's going to sit, or else I wouldn't, be telling you guys this. But yeah, LeBron or Westbrook would just be pretty much a lock if we get that news. So with LeBron and AD off the court, Westbrook has about a 35% usage rate and a 47 fantasy point total per 36 with those 2 off the court. So yeah, he'd be someone that we're going out of our way to play. So let's go ahead and try to finish up this lineup. So I mentioned 2 players where the price point hasn't really caught up on them, both Kyrie and also Jordan Clarkson. For now, for this build, I'm going to go Jordan Clarkson. I do think we could switch that pretty interchangeably, but I wanted to have a little bit more salary. I'm going to go ahead and put Giannis into this build, because I do think we're going to be getting around 60 DK points out of him. And then from there, TJ Warren going to be a strong price point play, I still think, on this slate. So a really good starting point for this build. But that's all I have for you guys for this video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. If you did, you know what to do. Give a like and subscribe. That helps me continue to put out more content for you guys. All right, let's have a good slate. And as always, let's keep cashing.